Good Wednesday morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing. Looking at our impact map, for the most part, no significant impacts. We'll have some showers coming up into our southern areas today. But here on the right-hand side, if you read the text, for Thursday, gusty southwest winds 25 to 35 miles per hour across northwestern Nevada, given by the orange shade through here. Fuels are borderline. Some are kind of on the moist side. Some are starting to dry out. We'll see how it plays out. But this is something we'll be watching for late Thursday afternoon for several hours, where humidity could drop down to the mid-teens and winds could gust to about 35 miles per hour. In the past 24 hours on the left, you see quite a bit of shower activity pushing up into Arizona, starting to get into southern Nevada. It will start pushing northwards. I can see a lot of lightning here on the right-hand side associated with this last push of pseudo-monsoonal moisture. New fire activity, and you start out here outside of Reno in the Sierra foothills, and one outside here in the central Wasatch. Otherwise, pretty quiet across the area. Precipitation both on the left-hand side for the past 7 days and on the right-hand side shows where we've had significant amounts of precipitation across at least two-thirds of our area, but the western portions of Nevada, again, are the ones that have been in the dry slot. Looking at our ERC conditions, you see most areas are in the green, which is below the 50th percentile. Here across far western, northwestern Nevada, the yellows are 50th to 70th, and here in the orange, right around the 70th or a little bit higher. So we'll see how these fuels dry out in the next 36 hours ahead of that wind event, which we'll be tracking. Look at our satellite imagery. We see developing subtropical moisture now being pulled up across Arizona and pushing into southern Nevada and southern Utah today. This will bring a change in the weather, some showers to our southern areas. Further off to the north, deep low pressure coming out of the Gulf of Alaska will affect our weather in the next 2 days with increasing winds, especially across the western portion of the Great Basin. So for today, on the left-hand side, we see that moisture in that green pushing up into the southern half of Utah and southern Nevada. Underneath this green will be isolated showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm as well. Heavier precipitation more on the Utah side of the border. On the right-hand side, you can see that our fire potential is quite minimal in most areas, a little drier off to the west. And then looking at today's humidity on the left-hand side, you can see quite high across our eastern areas, but drying out in western Nevada down into the low and mid-teens. Winds inconsequential. These higher colors you see here across Nevada, parts of Utah, are outflow boundaries from possible showers and thunderstorms, which will be pushing through the area. Those winds will have higher humidity with them. On Thursday, that moisture pushes into northern portions of Utah, northeast Nevada, and into parts of Idaho with scattered showers and high humidity, corresponding low fire potential on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, I do want to show some attention to this low pressure area. It's pushing in. We'll see increasing southwest winds coming in as this low starts approaching. And on Thursday, you can see those winds starting to pick up here. Maybe these orange gusts here are 25 to 30 miles per hour. You can see humidity down into the teens in those western areas. Of course, much higher in the green, 40s and 50% daytime humidities across most of the eastern two-thirds of the Great Basin. Now on Friday, that trough drops down, pushes in some dry air aloft. By this tannish and brownish shade. The wind gradient will be tightening given by these height lines. High risk for wind across parts of northern California. Their fuels there are significantly drier. We have not issued high risk out here yet, but we'll have to watch it and see how our fuels dry out. May have to make a judgment call on this one tomorrow and see how it plays out, because if you look at the winds on Friday afternoon, quite strong here. The purple colors are gusts to 35, maybe even some gusts to 40 miles per hour. On the left-hand side, humidity levels about 15 to 20% in these affected areas. Winds will be picking up across most of the rest of Nevada as well, but humidity quite a bit higher as you head further off to the east. Precipitation over the next 3 days, you can see quite a bit across southern and central Utah, except for the northwestern areas, and also pushing into parts of southern and central, especially eastern portions of Nevada, a couple of hundredths, maybe even a third of an inch here outside of Mount Charleston, keeping things pretty moist in southern Nevada. Further down the road on Saturday, there's that trough of low pressure with drier air pushing in. It's going to remain breezy and across those areas. Deep low pressure with moisture pushing into the Pacific Northwest, more of a wintertime system. And as we go into Sunday, we see that moisture now pushing into Northern California. On Monday, that moisture tracks across the Great Basin, so we could have a pretty moist, cool period later this Sunday into the early part of next week. And more moisture pushing on in as we really start exiting any last vestiges of fire season as we go into the first week of October. Here's the precipitation in those western areas of Nevada, which are dry. We'll be getting some rainfall, maybe 1/10 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch. Should be enough to keep things at bay, and all the rest of the geographic area also gets significant wetting rains, putting the final nails in the coffin across most of our area. Looking at our extended outlook, nothing re-emerging. A cooler than normal signal, much colder than normal across much of the west, and also a wetter than normal signal for at least the northern portion of the Great Basin, so we don't expect any significant fire activity to develop. I just want to remind everyone this fire weather briefing ends this Saturday, October 1st, and we begin our off-season smoke briefing on Mondays and Fridays beginning October 3rd, giving an outlook for the next couple of days of any weather conditions and possible burn windows. So that will be our change for now. All right, have a great day.